Hello, everybody, and welcome to Two Peas in a Podcast. We are your host. I am Titus Beard. This is my sister.
I'm Clarissa Beard.
And we started this podcast I think we got the idea today, but we got the idea a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
I came up with the idea. I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while now. And I came up with the idea, and I was like, man, you know what? I need topics. I need topics. I need to order a mic. I'm going to go to this stuff. I'm going to just do it. And so
You put in the group chat.
Yeah, I put in the group chat. Yeah.
Does anybody have topics for a podcast? And I was like, oh, you're doing a podcast. I'm about to do it with you, so...
Yeah, so and I really didn't want nobody to do it with me for. I want to do it myself, and I'm just going to have, guests and stuff. Of course, we're still going to have guests. Mm-hmm. But, I was like, you know what? I said, that'd be dope. A brother and sister doing it. Mm-hmm. Two intelligent people, right? I'm not book smart. My sister book smart.
Yeah, one intelligent person.
No, but I'm smart when it comes to life, right? When it comes to decision making in life, when it comes to, I can give good advice. There's literally people who ask me at 30, 40 years old, ask me for advice. I'm 21, right? I'm not saying that to toot a little horn on the but I'm just saying, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to start. I said, if I have a talent, a gift that God has blessed me with, let's use it. You know what I mean? So I feel like this is going to be beneficial to people. We're going to talk about some deep topics on here. The first one's kind of deep that we're going to talk about today. But yeah, so that's kind of my background of why I want to start the podcast. Mm-hmm. So why did you want to join?
Well, I just thought it'd be cool to do something like this with you.
Oh, it's about me.
Shut up.
I
had a YouTube channel of my own, well, I still do, and I kind of want to post on it again, but I thought doing something like this would kind of help me to get the courage to do that again. And I like stuff like this. I like listening to podcasts and YouTube channels that do stuff like this, so it'd be cool to do it my own. All right, y'all, so the topic for our first podcast is father absence, and both of us can relate to this because we lost our father when I was just 6. So I just turned 6, and you were 8.
I was 8 back in 2010. Yeah.
So, well, I'm gonna start by saying, when I was 6, I knew my father was sick, and I knew things were changing, but I was just a happy-go-lucky kid, so I didn't really.
Right.
I didn't really think too much about it. When you're 6 like that, you don't even understand the concept of death. If somebody tells you that they're dying, you're not gonna, realize how that's gonna affect you. So, I remember the day that we found out that Dad passed away, and I was in kindergarten at school. And I think it was I don't know what was happening that day, but kids were getting going home or whatever. I think maybe the weather was bad.
It was bad.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
So people, our classes were already small, and I know for my class, I was in kindergarten, so my teacher was just letting us do what we wanted for the rest of the day. And then all of a sudden, we just got called down to the office, and so it was just I remember us, all of the siblings walking down to the office, and I'm still happy or whatever because I'm just maybe we're leaving, I don't know. And the principal comes in, and I think a couple other people, and they just proceed to tell us that our father has passed away. And I remember feeling oh, this is not good, but I was just I didn't. Again, I was 6 years old. I didn't really understand the whole gravity of the situation.
Right.
I remember Salini, which is our older sister, she was crying and everything. It was just it was a very sad moment. And I remember when we got home, I would never forget when they were taking Dad off, and he was on a stretcher and rolling him out the door, and Mom just let out this big huge cry, and I would never forget that. It was just, I don't know,
maybe almost a whimper.
Yeah, it was just implanted in my heart. But when I was younger, I felt guilty for the longest because I never really cried about my dad passing away. And it didn't affect me for the longest time. Of course, I did want my father there, but, I didn't have no memory of him, so I did have a few memories of him, but it wasn't this big absence in my life at that moment. But when I got to middle school, especially because I was getting bullied and things like that, and I was getting bullied by boys that was telling me I'm ugly and things like that. And that's when you do need your dad, because your dad's going to tell you, you know, you are beautiful, stuff like that. And, you know, that's when I was really missing him. And I had developed this hatred in my heart, you know, for God, because I was just like, you know, he took my dad away with, you know, for no reason. And so that's when a lot of hatred built up. And you know, when I was at my lowest with depression and everything. But I kind of turned that around quick. When, you know, I started high school, I think that's pretty much when a lot of my healing started. And now, you know, I do still miss my dad in like small little parts. Like I know when I get married, I'm gonna, you know, miss that or whatever. But I think now I can look at, you know, the bright side of things and pretty much healed up now. But yeah, when I was in middle school experiencing most of that, it was definitely difficult. And I will say for sure that like when you don't have your father, it kind of sets you back a little bit. But it just kind of depends on how you react to that setback and how like you choose to, you know, go about life because despite of that setback.
And I was going, you know, I was thinking while my sister was talking, I was thinking middle school is a very tough time in a child's life. It's a very vital time in a child's life. You coming up, you're experiencing new things. You're growing, right? Adolescent, right? Growing and developing. It's huge because like you know, like she said, when you're growing and you are finding yourself as a person, and these boys are telling you, oh, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, you are so vulnerable at that moment. You're gonna believe what they're saying. So if you don't have a father in your ear telling you positive things, and other people are telling you negative things, bullying you, and bullying is huge in middle school. You know, you're gonna think, oh, what they're saying is true, and it affects your mental health. It affects your, you know what I mean? So, that's huge, and now I'm kind of going to, you know, how it affected me. You know, because my father passed. It's not like he walked out or anything like that. He was he was always there for us, great father, you know. But he passed away because he had kidney cancer, and I remember that day I was in second grade, and I was in class, and you know, of course, they called us, like my sister said, called us down there. And initial shock, or the initial, you know what I mean? You like, you don't know, being that young, I was 8, you know, you're like, man, what? You know, what just happened? You know, a lot of times you don't get affected until later on in life, being that young when you lose a parent. But it's like, but it's tough though. It's tough. So with me, I struggle because every boy, every girl needs a father. And what I struggled with was, you know, I want this. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that. Dad to teach me this. Dad to teach me that. You know, this father over here is going fishing with his son, or going golfing with his son, or, you know, and you're missing that connection, right? You're missing that connection that you want with your father. And I experienced that heavy. And depression, right? That's one of the 5 stages of grief. Anger, right? Like my sister said, anger at God. At one point, I was angry at God. You know, why you take it? You know what I mean? What was your reasoning for this? It really is tough. And the effect it had on me was great, because people say, my mom always says, oh, you are a replica of your father, right? I'm like, man, I'm just like him. Like, I never had a connection with a guy before. Never. The older guy, I never had a connection with one. I still to this day have not. Thankfully, I've met some people that have helped me, you know, big shout out to my mom who has helped me, you know, and that's why I'm in the position I am now. You know, good young man, you know, married, you know what I mean, there for his family, you know what I mean. But if it wasn't for people that kind of stepped up, oh, I probably would be on the street selling drugs, or I probably would be in jail right now. I'll probably be in a grave right now. because of decisions that I probably would have made because of the absence of my father. And a lot of times, and I did, and some people didn't think I struggled because of my father passing away. But I'm the kind of person where I hold it inside.
And you really do. Like, I've never really seen you depressed or nothing, or say, like, share about you,
Yep.
being depressed.
Right. Yes. But that's because I was the kind of person where, and you got to watch out for that within certain people. I kind of want to hone in on this father absence thing because I'm going to read a little something here.
Some statistics.
Yes.
Across America, there are approximately 18.3 million children who live without a father in the home, which is about 1 in every 4 children who don't have a father in the home. The United States has the highest rate of children living in single-parent households of any nation in the world. About 80% of single-parent homes are led by single mothers, at a rate of 23% of children living with one parent and no other adults. The United States stands over 3 times the world average of 7% of children raised by one parent.
So those statistics are insane, right? You got approximately 18.3 million children, 1 in 4, right, in the United States, living in a household without a father. Now you might say, oh, well, why is that significant? Well, I'm going to read you why. It says, research shows when a child is raised in a father-absent home, they are affected in the following ways. They are 4 times at greater risk of poverty, more likely to have behavioral problems, 2 times greater risk of infant mortality, more likely to go to prison, more likely to commit crime, 7 times more likely to become pregnant as a teen, more likely to face abuse and neglect, more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol, 2 times more likely to suffer obesity, and 2 times more likely to drop out of high school.
And that's how you know our mom did a good job, because
Right.
most of our siblings aren't doing all that.
Right. So looking at these statistics and realizing that, man, a lot of the issues that America has is caused because of the fact that there are fathers who are absent from children's homes, or from the home in general. If the home isn't right, then the community isn't right. If the community isn't right, then the country isn't right.
And I think it's funny that this can literally be solved. Like, you can control this.
It's so controllable.
If people just make that decision to be there, for their children.
So, talking about all of this, I think it's time and important that we brainstorm kind of some ideas of how we can help fix this situation in our, in our communities, right? Yes.
Well, I know that they was trying to get, like, younger men to teach, like, elementary school and stuff,
Okay.
because there's a lot of kids who, don't have their fathers, and they was hoping, and it was really more, they were trying to get, like, black young men to teach elementary classes, so that the kids could, have at least maybe a father figure, because when I was younger, I didn't have nothing, it was mainly female teachers,
Right.
that really affected how I communicated with, like, males, because, like, I didn't know how to. So I think that would be good if they try to, do that.
I think that if that piece is missing in your life, there's something that should fill that, right? Especially if it's death, right? Because you're not going to get that back.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that you definitely need a father figure. And people don't realize how important fathers are. Yes, mothers are most definitely important, especially I feel like in the beginning of a child's life, right? But I feel like the father definitely comes in later on, right? When girls can begin to talk and whatnot and listen and understand what their parents are saying, it is so vital that father continues to instill within his daughter, you are beautiful. Don't let anybody tell you different. That daughter is able to see that father going to work and treating her mother right. treating the children right, paying the bills. So then that daughter is going to sees that within that father, her father, and so she's going to go out when she gets older and say, that's what I want in a man.
And not settle for less.
And not settle for less. But if you don't have that, you're going to settle for whatever. That's why there's a lot of women nowadays who will literally go out and find the most thuggish, most hood dudes out there with no job, no car, pants sagging, no money in the bank, and then we'll get with them and have children with them.
And put up with whatever, they do.
And I've heard about it thousands. I've seen online or social media. There's thousands of situations like that. Why? Because that father was never in the home. Because that daughter did not have an example of what a man should be like. So they were desperate. First, it's desperation because they're missing their father's presence. So they want a man's presence, so it's desperation. So they'll just settle for anything.
And on the flip side, it's the same with men. Like if they don't see, what a father is supposed to be, what a man is supposed to do, they're not gonna do that.
Right. And you got 18.3 million of them now. So these people are going out, and you got millions of young men and millions of young women going out into the world with these mentalities. Right. Thank you. Mentalities that you can settle for whatever, you can do whatever. You don't have to have a job. You don't have to have a car. You don't have to have your license. You don't have to have, you know what I mean? Your priorities messed up.
Lack of confidence. They want to feed, they don't know their worth until they want to, they're going for whatever is going to make them feel better.
Right. Ooh, the feeling. That's big. This is the mentality that these young people have nowadays. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's why so many marriages end in divorce. That's why so many young people don't know how to love. They don't know relation. Why? Because their father was gone. Mama didn't have nobody to love her. Daddy didn't love her the right way. Daddy didn't love this woman the right. And their relationship, there was something that happened with it, and then it healed, and they went and over there, and then mom got mad at dad, got bitter, and then mom and dad never spoke, and then dad eventually tried to come back into our life, but mom was so mad at him that she got in the way of us having a relationship with our father, even though when he tried to fix it, and now mother is basically dictating how we feel about our father, and now this is some deep stuff.
And all you have is this bitterness and hatred, and then, it's just things get misconstrued, and then the worst thing about it is the cycle goes on and on.
And it goes on. Ooh, that's the most dangerous part of this. I'm telling you, man, when you have a father that's a certain way, and he has a son, that if that father does not, if whatever way that father is, that child is most likely to follow in that direction. They say that when you have an abusive father and he has a son, if that father does not change his behavior, his son is more likely to become abusive to the woman he gets with.
So I actually am experiencing something like that. Not personally, child.
Oh, okay, I'm about to say.
I do know someone, and her boyfriend had a father that used to beat on, the boy's mom.
Right.
And he now lays his hands on the girl. So, I mean, it's really a cycle.
It really is a cycle. I mean, that's basically what it. I mean, that's the most dangerous. Probably be one thing if this generation did it, and then all of a sudden it's a cycle now.
So I think something big that helped both of us out, and our other siblings as well, is having a mom that she had to play both parts, while still grieving, the death of our father. And, our mom did a very good job, trying to raise us, without him. And a lot of things she did, it helped us to turn out the way that, that we had. Mm-hmm. And obviously we aren't perfect, of course, but
absolutely.
I would say one thing that mom did was, for me, whenever she saw that maybe I felt a little insecure, or, you know, not confident. She always tried to instill in me, you know, confidence and things like that. And of course, it didn't, you know, it wasn't the same as having a dad do it, or like your friend telling you, you know, oh, you're beautiful, whatever, because she's your mom. You know, you know, she's supposed to say all those things. But if you keep saying them, and if you keep instilling in your child, you know, that you know what they're supposed to, you know, and not even with looks. Like if I did something, like I used to bake a lot, and I used to always get mad at myself because I would always think I failed, and like if it didn't turn out perfect. But she'd be like, no, like what you talking about? Like that looks so good, and it would be so genuine. You could tell it wasn't just, you know, she wasn't just saying it, and she, you know, she keeps doing that and doing that. You know, it does build confidence in you. So I think that's something that was good that my mom did, that maybe like, you know, other single mothers would strive to do for their daughters, not just for their daughters, but, you know, their other kids as well. So what you think? What you think some mom did?
What mom did? Man, I think one thing that kind of sticks out to me that mom did, love and discipline, I think was the big, because love is important. Of course, you want to love that child, spend time with that child, talk to that child, teach that child. That's all love right there. So that's important, right? But also discipline as well. You see, there's probably a lot of, you know, single moms out there who don't know how to discipline their children. A lot of times a father is needed for that. But I think mom, she didn't play.
She did not.
She still would discipline her. If we messed up, that belt was coming out. And I think that's one of the huge reasons why they suffer from behavior, or they're more likely to have behavioral issues, is because there's just one parent missing. I think it was impressive that mom, you know, took on that role and still did not play. Disciplined us, put a belt on when she needed us to. She still, when she needed to, she still, you know, loved us. She would always try to make sure. She always make sure I was okay. Make sure that do you need somebody to talk to? Do you need a man to talk to? She would connect me with different men to talk to, and different. I feel like that's one thing that she never gave up, is what I'm basically trying to say. She never gave up on us. And there's a lot of women out there who give up on their children, and I cannot speak for that because I'm not a woman. I'm not single, so I cannot speak on that. But that's why I'm saying it's so impressive. I understand why some women would give up on raising their kids, or they may not give up, you know, altogether. They still put food on the table and still go to work, but they give up just
doing,
you know,
the bare minimum.
They're just doing the bare minimum.
Like they feel like it's a lost cause.
Right. Yep. Like it's just too far gone. Right. Things that I have kind of brainstormed about of how we can help this situation of father absence is never give up on your child if you're a father. Never give up on your child. Keep trying to rekindle that relationship with them if it has gotten messed up. For the mothers out there, don't let bitterness get in the way of your relationship with, because that's a big part of it right there. I think humility is big here. So
it's not about them. It's about the kids.
It's about the kids.
The well-being of them. Because it's something that it's not just going to affect them for a year and then they're over it.
Nope.
This is something that's going to for your rest of your life. So
mothers, be humble. Allow your child to see their father.
Be humble. Sit down.
allow your child to be able to have a relationship with their father. Third thing is, stop having babies with people that you don't know nothing about. Be careful who you have children with. There's so many ways that we can fix this, but people just need to think wisely and make good decisions.
Like, do what they want in that moment. And all this YOLO, you only live once. You only live once, so if you get a child, you're going to have to raise them.
Right.
So you better be careful.
And then they're going to be affected. You're not even really one that's affected. It's really them. Be careful who you have children with. I'm serious.
It sounds like somebody's dad.
I am somebody's dad. Her name not.
I think when I was younger, what maybe would have helped me a little bit more is to have like someone to talk to, not just like family or whatever, but like I don't know, like just find someone maybe that's trustworthy, but whether it be a teacher, if you go to church, somebody at your church, maybe somebody just different than like family to just talk to. You don't have to talk to them about your deepest, darkest secrets, but just kind of like have someone to check up on you all the time. That cares about you. Because somebody's going to care about you. Somebody's going to love you. You're not just going to go through this life and nobody,
right.
Nobody's, not going to care about you, whatever. So maybe just try to find that person and just, so that your well-being, stays straight. So that's what I would say. But that's all I got.
That's a big one, though, because I don't know how I forgot about that. There was a teacher I had, Mr. John Daniels, man. He stepped in. That's about the only person I probably could say that was like a father figure to me. Stepped in. I would go to his class and eat lunch with him, and you know what I mean? And we would talk about stuff, my dreams, my aspirations. We connected on so many levels, man. Both was in the military. Both had a passion for children and helping children. Try to find somebody. I mean, if you are, a child experiencing, this, try to find somebody who, is that can kind of serve as a father figure to you. Of course, if your father is still living, try your best to rekindle a relationship with, with your father. And let's break this cycle. This cycle has been going on for far too long. Let's help break this cycle.
Gen Z is going to break generational curses. Actually, we may not, because this generation is crazy. But we can hope.
I'm talking about just being able to be a voice for our community and for our generation and say that we can change this. I want millions of men to look at me and realize, oh my goodness, this is an example right there, and I can be that. And they can heal a whole generation, So let's work, man, one family at a time. Let's work to fix the situation. This is a greatest situation fixing America, in my opinion. And we can fix this. We're gonna talk about some deep stuff over here, man. The next topic, we don't know what it is. If you have an idea of what the next topic should be, go ahead and comment in the comment section down below. Please remember to like this video. Please subscribe to this channel.
Why are you so loud?
Turn on post and notifications so you can be notified whenever time we post a video. And man, stay tuned, man, for 2 P's in a podcast, man, next time we post. So yes.
Also comment down below which one of us you like better.
Me. So
that's funny.
But anyway, man, I hope you enjoyed this first video. I hope it was a blessing, and I hope it affects your life in a positive way. Signing out. 2 P's in a podcast. Peace out. And we'll catch y'all in the next video.